Hello, everybody. Thanks for your presence. I am Ali Fouladkar. I am a PhD student in Grenoble University and Sirag Laboratory. So I am presenting my research regarding big and smart data for efficient decisions. How to share with decision makers the practices of big data analytics. In the first, I will present the different parts of my presentation. Big data, big or noisy, educational revolution in the area of big data analytics, state of the art, from big to smart data and efficient decision-making process, then decision-making process in the area of big data. And in the last part, I will present the goal of my presentation of my research, how to help decision makers with big data analytics. So in this slide, I chose some pictures to focus to the big data challenges related to decision-making process. These pictures reflect the new emergence and the huge amount of big data. We have two decision makers who want to make a decision in the area of big data. So the first part, data big or noisy. Is big data big noise? Is big data big noisy only? So we define here the notion of big data. Big data is a huge collections of heterogeneous data ingested at increasing speed and integrated. This definition reflects the 4 V's of big data. So in this time, the availability of a huge amount of data is analyzed in new ways. A new form of data analysis go beyond the traditional relations data model by analyzing of variance structure and modality. So the traditional techniques of treating and collecting and analyzing big data doesn't work now in this huge amount in this huge amount of data. So in the past, data were noise, but after this emergence of new techniques and new methods to analyze and generate this data, our data is transformed from noise to big data. And then in the first parts, we will see how big data transform to smart data. So, does volume equate to value? Organizations capture billions of bytes of information about their consumers, suppliers, and operations. But their ability to collect, manage, and interpret this information can be an obstacle to their use. And many events can be recorded within organization, generating a never-ending sea of data. So now we are in a huge amount of data, in an ocean of data, how organization can capture and analyze this huge amount of data, by elaborating a new techniques and methods. So those big data requires big decision. It's time to deal with the decision-making process. Deal with decision-making process in the area of big data and assist and learn decision makers how to treat and analyze this huge amount of data to improve the organizational performance. So, and organizations that succeed with big data analytics will be those that understand the possibilities and choose the right deployment models. Now, the educational revolution in the area of big data. In recent years, research works largely caught up with the industrial progress related to emerging of big data. However, this emergence is not yet touched by the educational sector. We must assist decision makers and educate the next decision makers generation about the new big data technologies by developing new approaches to education process mainly based on the new analytical tools. The fast growth of data incite many universities to develop courses and programs in the area related to big data analytics, mostly data mining, data warehousing, and data analysis, distributed systems, and the most recently data science. For example, of advanced study programs in data science, the data science at the New York University, information and data science at UC Berkeley, and data science at Syracuse University. Most major universities offer some of big data courses. However, curriculum is not consistent across institutions. So now the big data analytics state of the art. Laval said or defined big data analytics, said that big data analytics describes data and analytics in a large amount, in a large and complex applications that they required advanced and unique data analysis. So we have two or more than methods to analyze data, analytics methods. Methods for qualitative analytics and methods for quantitative analysis. For example, methods for qualitative analysis like presence or absence of deadlocks, presence of correctness and soundness, and methods for quantitative analysis like compute the average completion times of cases. The definition of big data analysis is easy to understand, but do decision makers actually use the term to facilitate this term and the decision makers process? We propose this notion regarding big data analytics. Big data, it's volume, velocity, variability, and veracity. Analytics, it's selections, joint correlation, extraction, data mining, and the predictive models. So when decision makers understand this table or this component of big data analytics, they can improve their decision-making process to improve the organizational performance in the area of big data. So there is an irreversible trend toward the criticality of big data analytics capability and exercise, which is specifically related to the improvement of traditional data-driven decision-making approaches. We are dealing with the decision-making process related to analytical methods in order to explore the challenges that decision makers face in the area of big data. From big to smart data in efficient decision-making process. It's time to exploit big data, this new emergence of big data, and develop a new concept of smart data. So smart data is the lethal weapon for modern enterprises and businesses who want to survive and improve their performances in this digital market. Once the structural meaning of big data is understood, the most important aspect of big data management is actual extraction of knowledge through massive processing and data analysis. So how to transform our big data to smart data? How is smart data really different from big data, and what makes smart data? Three key attributes to data to be smart: accurate, actionable, and agile. Agile, so here we are dealing with the flexibility matters. So our data should be in real time flexible and ready to adapt to the changement in the organizational environment. Actionable, scalable. Our data should be in scalable action to maximize the organizational needs and objectives. Accurate data, our data should be in enough equality to make a value from this data. Decision-making process in the area of big data. Simon is one of the first researchers who have treated decision-making process, which has considered satisfaction rather than optimization. And Simon in 1960 said the initial effort toward designing management information systems started with available data rather than with decisions to be made. So a lot of researchers like Mintzberg, Krach, and March deals with decision-making process related to data and focus to the real importance of data in the decision-making process. So, before the emergence of big data analytics concept, some decisions were proceeded in a standard way without complexity. And after the new use of a large amount of data, decision-making process has changed radically, especially for strategic decision. This new requirement is not based on the experience of the decision makers, but it's based on techniques and data management systems that being development and processed. So our goal is how to help decision makers through big data analytics. The available training was built around technical and energy engineering problems, and it does not offer a proper theoretical basis to support decision makers in pertinent exploration of the big data fields. So we aim to define coherent and stable learning objectives in a highly dynamic field and balance between the theory and the practice for various educational and training needs and availability of high quality teaching materials. So from our research, we aim to provide the guidance and recommendation to develop and build new approaches to educational process, mostly based on new analytical tools regarding the implementation of big data technologies in the development of big data decision makers skills, data collection procedures for the implementation of learning analytics, and educate students, the future decision makers from university, to be prepared to explore these new analytical techniques in the area of big data. And thank you.